everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in this video I'm going to be discussing all of my reading goals for 2023. Now I am normally a person that doesn't like to set things in stone, whether it be reading goals or TBRs or anything like that, because I like just being able to do whatever I want to do and not feeling like I'm being controlled by either a list or a TBR or goals or anything like that. But I do like having some sort of direction with things that I'm doing, whether it be reading or just like life things. So I want to set some reading goals for myself for the next year. If I don't reach these goals, then that's perfectly fine, but if I do, then yay, good for me. But I'm not really going to be beating myself up over if I don't reach these goals. I just want to have a bit of a structure next year for books I want to read and other things that I want to do that are book related. So these are my reading goals for 2023. Everyone's reading goal at the start of the year is how many books do you want to read throughout the year, and I am setting my Goodreads goal at 50 books. I set it at 50 for this year and I actually surpassed that. Like, I've read 60 books so far, so I think 50 is the perfect number to where I know I can easily attain that. If I don't read 50 books, then it's not the end of the world. But if I do read more than 50 books, then yay. But I think 50 is just the perfect number for me. Buying less books is another huge goal that I want to try to focus on next year, because I have a really bad habit of just buying any book that I see that I have like a vague interest in, or if I see it at like a low price, I'll go ahead and buy it just so if I do want to read it, I have it in my collection. But I have not been reading many of the books that I have been buying, so I just want to cut down on the amount of books that I am buying and just focus on the books that I already have in my collection. And then jumping off of that, I also want to read more of my physical TBR. So if you watched my physical TBR video, then you know that I have over 100 books on my physical TBR, which is really bad. So I really want to focus on reading the books that I have in my collection already, because I have more than enough books that I have not touched that I can just read whenever I want. So I really want to focus on lowering the number of books on my physical TBR. I don't have a certain number that I want to reach or anything, but I just want to slowly make my way through my physical TBR and make it not as ridiculous as over 100 books, because that's just out of hand. Also, jumping off of that is I want to do more reading challenges. Like, I read 5 shortest books on my TBR, 5 longest books, 5 romances, 5 fantasies, or it doesn't need to be 5, it can be 3 or however many, but just like themed reading challenges and themed reading vlogs like that, so that I can also make my way through my physical TBR in that way. And I think it'll also motivate me to want to pick up books from my shelves, because I want to do a little reading vlog for it. So I'm gonna look at my shelf and be like, oh, I'm kind of in the mood for fantasies, so I'm gonna pick 5 fantasies off of my shelf that I want to read and see how it goes. So again, just trying to make my way through my physical TBR slowly but surely, and I think doing little reading challenges like that will be a really fun way to do it. Something that I have always done and I want to carry on into the new year is to DNF books that I am not enjoying, because there are just way too many books out there that I want to read that there's no point in wasting my time with a book that I'm not enjoying. I am a serial DNFer. Like, if I don't like a book in the first 50 to 100-ish pages, I'm gonna DNF it. I don't care, because I just don't want to waste my time pushing through a book that I am not vibing with. So I'm just gonna keep that momentum and just DNF books that I'm not enjoying and move on to the next one, so I can just try to read as many books that I actually like as possible, because there's no point in wasting your time reading a book that you don't care about, because I've done that before and it's not very fun at the end, because what was the point? So keep on DNFing books, because DNFing is self-care. Something that I was doing this year that I want to carry on into next year is to not force myself to read when I don't want to, because I have a really bad habit of just forcing myself to read because, oh, I started this book a month ago and I need to finish it so that it's not on my currently reading, and just things like that. But then when I do that to myself, it just kind of makes reading a chore, and I don't want to read because it's not really fun anymore, because I'm just forcing myself to read just to read. So I want to not force myself to read if I don't want to. If I feel myself getting into a reading slump, then I'm just gonna embrace the reading slump and do other hobbies like gaming or journaling or literally anything else. Like, if I'm not reading for however many days at a time, it's not the end of the world. If I don't read for like 2 months, oh well, that's, who cares? I can do other hobbies in that time. So if I'm not constantly reading, then it's okay, because then if you're just forcing yourself to read, reading isn't going to be fun anymore. So I've been slowly learning that if I'm not reading for a certain amount of time, then it's fine. I just want to keep that mentality so that reading can keep on being fun for me, because that's what reading is supposed to be. I am really bad at sticking to TBRs, but I think if I have a TBR for the entire year, then it won't be as bad. So there are a few series or books that I want to start in the new year. So I first want to finally read the Heroes of Olympus series by Rick Riordan. I keep saying that I'm gonna read this series. I've been meaning to read it for like 2 years now. Like, I read Percy Jackson I think 3 years ago, and under that video everyone was saying to read Heroes of Olympus, and I was like, I'm gonna do it, and then I never did. And I have all of the books on my shelf. Like, I bought all 5 of them. So there's really nothing stopping me from reading the Heroes of Olympus series, besides possibly not liking it as much as Percy Jackson. But everyone just keeps raving about the Heroes of Olympus series, so I definitely want to read it in 2023. Even if it's not all 5 books, I want to at least give the series a chance. The Mistborn trilogy is another series that I really want to read in 2023. I have heard so many things about it over the years on booktube. Like, everyone's been raving about it since like 2016, I think. It's just a booktube staple and an adult fantasy staple, and I just really want to get into the Mistborn trilogy, and I'm gonna be buddy reading it with my friend Megan, so I think that'll also motivate me to want to read it. And then I can also start the Stormlight Archives series, which is another series that I really want to read, but it's intimidating because each book is over 1,000 pages. I just heard so many good things about the Stormlight Archives series that I really want to read it so badly, but I think I need to read Mistborn first before jumping into Stormlight. I don't know if it really matters. If I can read Stormlight first, then that's fine, but I'll probably start with Mistborn first, just to slowly dip my toes into the world of Brandon Sanderson's writing. But Stormlight Archives is something that's been on my brain for so long, and I just want to read it so badly because I want to know what all the hype is about. But yeah, Mistborn and Stormlight are some fantasy series that I really want to get to in 2023. I also want to catch up or keep up with Yona of the Dawn, which is one of my all-time favorite manga series. I'm currently on volume 16, I think, and there's currently like 36 volumes out or something like that. I don't think I'm gonna be able to catch up to volume 37, but I do want to slowly make my way through the series like I have been so far. So if I can get to volume 20 something, then that's fine, and if I can catch all the way up to 37, that's also fine. But I just want to keep making my way through Yona of the Dawn. I also want to read more classics. I recently read The Picture of Dorian Gray, and it is a new all-time favorite book, and it just really inspired me to want to get into more classics because I found an all-time favorite book in a classic, which I was not expecting. So I have a ton of classics on my shelf, ranging from Dickens to Shakespeare to Jane Austen. Like, I have a huge variety of classics on my shelf, so I want to read some more classics in 2023. I don't have a certain number, but I do want to make my way through some more classics. My last reading goal is something that I used to do back in 2021, and that is reading journaling. I had a reading journal, like a physical reading journal, that I would make the spreads for each month and fill in how many books I read and put in the book covers and everything, and I was having fun with it until like August, and I just gave up on it because it was just way too much work having to come up with a theme and printing out the pictures and drawing everything and doing all the little boxes. Like, it was just too much work for me to do every single month, and I just gave up on it. But I do want to get back into reading journaling, so I think the best way for me to do that is on my new iPad which my boyfriend got for me for an early Christmas present. So this is where I will be doing my reading journal. I saw that Chloe Bunny recently did a journaling video, or like journaling update, where she showed her digital reading journal, and that really inspired me to want to have one of my own, especially since I do already have a physical life journal, and just keeping up with 2 physical journals is just gonna be too much for me. So I think having it on my iPad is gonna make it so much easier, because I can just easily fill stuff in, erase stuff, and I think it'll just be much more convenient than having a physical journal that I need to fill out every month. So definitely want to get back into keeping up with a reading journal, because it's just very satisfying at the end of each month seeing how many books you read and all the books you read with your star rating and all of that. Like, I just love that aspect of having a journal, but it was just too much work doing it all physically. So I'm really excited to have a digital reading journal. So those are all of my reading goals for 2023, and I'm really excited to read more books in the new year, because I just have so many books that I want to get to so badly. Like, I will be filming a 23 books to read in 2023 video, because I just have so many books on my shelf that I'm staring at a few of them right now. Like, I just have so many books that I want to read, and I'm just really excited about reading in the new year, and just reading in general is making me very excited. So yeah, let me know in the comments down below what your reading goals are for 2023, whether it be TBRs or how many books you want to read, what types of books you want to read. Whatever reading goals you have, let me know down below. And yeah, so that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!